Samantha, Pennsylvania, was an unremarkable town, much like its people. Among them was Sam Carter, an ordinary man with an ordinary life. He worked in the mines, extracting coal day after day, his routine dictated by the hum of machinery and the echo of pickaxes striking stone. On a particularly grueling day, Sam and his team were deep underground, navigating a newly unearthed tunnel. The air was thick with dust, the dim light from their helmets barely piercing the oppressive darkness. It was then that the floor beneath Sam gave way. The world turned upside down, his body tumbling through the void. Rocks and debris crashed around him as he plummeted into the unknown. When he finally hit the ground, pain shot through his body, but miraculously, he was alive. The collapse had sealed the hole above him, leaving him alone in the darkness. The faint glow of his helmet illuminated a cavern unlike anything he had ever seen. This was no ordinary mine shaft. Stalactites hung like jagged teeth, and the walls bore markings, intricate carvings that spoke of a lost civilization. Sam's pulse quickened. He stumbled forward, guided by a force he didn't understand. Then, at the cavern's center, he found Ita, massive ancient chest covered in strange symbols. Despite a nagging sense of unease, he pried it open. The moment the lid lifted, an icy wind howled through the cavern, though there was no source for such a gust. The air grew heavy, oppressive, as if the cave itself was breathing. Then, from the depths of the chest, a black mist slithered into the air, twisting and writhing like a living shadow. A whisper. Low, guttural, incomprehensible. Sam staggered back, but it was too late. The darkness coiled around him, seeping into his skin, his lungs, his mind. A violent shiver racked his body. The whispering turned to scream snow, not scream slaughter. Malicious, ancient, unrelenting. And then silence. The air settled, but something inside Sam had changed. His head throbbed, his vision blurred, and in the distant shadows he saw something moving. He wasn't alone. A pair of eyes impossibly black, devoid of light, stared at him from the abyss. The figure emerged, tall and twisted, its limbs too long, its mouth stretching into an unnatural grin. "You have freed me," it rasped, "and now we are bound." A searing pain erupted in Sam's chest, as if invisible chains had latched onto his soul. His breath came in ragged gasps. He tried to move, but the entity mirrored his every action, its presence inescapable. Then, a whisper brushed against his ear. "You will never leave." Sam screamed. The darkness swallowed the sound. Above, his colleagues searched for him, but their voices never reached him. The cavern had become his prison, and the entity his captor. Sam staggered backward, his mind reeling. The figure loomed before him, its shadow stretching unnaturally along the cavern walls. His breathing quickened, panic clawing at his throat. What are you?" he managed to choke out. The entity's grin widened. A whisper in the dark, a hunger long forgotten, and now, thanks to you, awake. Sam turned, desperate to find another way out. But the cavern seemed endless, shifting, warping around him. The tunnel he had fallen through was now a solid wall of rock. He was trapped. His fingers trembled as he reached for his radio. "Hello? Anyone? I'm stuck down here, please." Static. Then, "They won't hear you. You are mine now." The voice wasn't coming from the radio. It was inside his head. Sam clenched his skull as the laughter returned, echoing from every direction. His vision flickered, the cavern twisting like a living thing. The carvings on the walls pulsed, their ancient symbols shifting into grotesque, unrecognizable forms. Then, a voice, faint, from above. "Sam? Sam, are you there?" It was his foreman. "I'm here," he screamed. "I'm here. Help me." A deep chuckle slithered through the darkness. The entity raised a clawed hand and pointed toward the rock wall. Sam's body moved against his will, his hands pressing against the stone. The moment his fingers touched it, the rock softened like wet clay, and through it he could see his colleagues, still searching, their flashlights sweeping the rubble. He tried to call out, but his voice failed him. He saw them, but they couldn't see him. He was trapped not just in the cavern, but in something else. The entity leaned in, its breath ice cold against Sam's neck. "You opened the door, Sam. Now you must step through." Pain exploded in his chest. He gasped as his body contorted, his skin turning pale, his veins darkening. He felt himself changing, his very essence draining away, consumed by the thing that had been locked away for centuries. Above, the search party gave up. They marked him as lost, another miner swallowed by the depths. But Sam wasn't lost. He was waiting. And when the next man fell into the cavern, he would be there watching, whispering, waiting to be free again.